What would you do if the love of your life disappeared without a word? What if they walked away, leaving you wondering if you ever truly meant anything to them at all? Imagine years of silence, and then suddenly, they're back, standing in front of you, ready to confess everything. Would you listen? Would you forgive them? Hi, my name is Grace. I'm 29, and I've been working as a marketing assistant at a small but thriving agency in Manhattan for the past 6 years. It's a good job, keeps me busy, and pays the bills, but it's nothing compared to the life I thought I'd have with him. I've always prided myself on being strong, focused, someone who doesn't let personal struggles interfere with work. But after Ethan left, everything changed. I've spent years convincing myself that I've moved on, that I've accepted what happened, that deep down, I still feel like a part of me is missing. A hole that only he can fill. It's been 5 years since he left. But even now, I can't seem to move forward. The office, the city, everything seems to have shifted around me. But somehow, I've stayed stuck in the same place. A place where he and I were supposed to have a future together. Instead, I'm stuck with unanswered questions and memories I can't shake. It's hard to explain. People tell me to move on, that I should find someone new. But it's not that easy. How can you just let go of someone who was your everything? Someone you thought would be there forever? Ethan and I were supposed to be forever. We were supposed to travel the world, build a life together, grow old with each other. Those were our plans, our dreams. We shared everything, our hopes, our fears, our moments of pure joy. But that was before he walked away without a word. I was 24 when I met Ethan, and he completely changed my world. I had just graduated from college and started my first real job. Life felt like it was opening up for the first time, and I had all these new experiences in front of me. And then, just as I was starting to feel like I was in control of my life, he appeared. It was a sunny Tuesday morning when I first saw him. I had been rushing into the office, running late as usual. As I pushed through the front door of the building, I collided with someone coming out of the elevator. The force of the bump threw me off balance, and I stumbled into him, my coffee splashing all over his shirt. I looked up in horror, expecting him to be angry, but instead, his deep blue eyes met mine with a mixture of surprise and amusement. Mouth curved into a smile, and I could have sworn the entire world paused for a moment. "I'm so sorry," I blurted out, wiping coffee off his chest, flustered. He laughed softly, brushing off the mess. "Don't worry about it. I've been in worse situations." There was something in the way he spoke, something warm and easy that made me feel like we had known each other forever. It wasn't love at first sight, but it was something else, something deeper. "Ethan," he said, extending a hand. "Grace," I replied, shaking it. I don't know why, but I could feel something shift in that simple handshake. We both knew it was the beginning of something, but neither of us had any idea of the emotional roller coaster we were about to ride. The months that followed were perfect. Ethan and I grew close. He was a friend of my boss's, but we spent more and more time together. We shared meals, weekend trips, and late-night conversations about everything and nothing at all. It felt effortless, like two halves of a whole that had finally come together. He wasn't just my boyfriend. He was my partner, my confidant, the person I could always turn to. And the best part, he made me feel special in a way no one ever had before. It was the little things he did. How he remembered my favorite color. How he always seemed to know when I needed a break from work. How he would text me just to ask how my day was going. He made me feel like I was the center of his world. Never doubted him. I never questioned us. For the first time in my life, I felt like I had found something real. Something that couldn't be broken. But then, one day, it all ended. It started off like any other day. I woke up to a text from Ethan, asking me what I was up to that evening. We had plans to go out for dinner. But by the end of the day, everything had changed. He called me after work. The sound of his voice was calm, almost too calm. I remember asking him what was wrong, but he kept telling me everything was fine. But it didn't sound fine. There was something in the way he spoke, something that didn't sit right with me. When he arrived at my apartment later that night, he didn't kiss me like he usually did. He just stood there in the doorway, looking at me with sad eyes. I knew something was wrong. "I have to go, Grace," he said, his voice breaking. "I can't do this anymore." I blinked, unsure of what he meant. "What do you mean? Go where?" He shook his head, tears welling up in his eyes. "I don't know. I just can't be here anymore. I need to figure things out. Please understand." And just like that, he left. No explanation. No goodbye. Just the quiet sound of the door closing behind him. I didn't know what to do. I stood there in the middle of the apartment, numb, my heart shattering into pieces. My whole world, everything I thought I knew, crumbled around me. I spent the next few days in a haze, wondering what went wrong. What had happened? Why didn't he want to be with me anymore? I reached out. I texted him. I called him. But there was no response. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. And finally, months turned into years. Ethan never came back. No letter. No phone call. Nothing. And here I was, still waiting. Still holding on to the memory of the man I thought I would spend my life with. I kept telling myself that I had to let go. But the truth was, I didn't want to. The love I felt for him hadn't faded. It still lingered, like a wound that had never fully healed. And now, after all this time, here he was again, standing in front of me. Changed, yes, but still the man I once loved. But could I still love him? Could I forgive him for disappearing without a word? Could I trust him again? All these questions raced through my mind as I stared at him. And then, with a soft voice, he spoke the words I never thought I'd hear. "Grace, I'm sorry. I need to explain." The days that followed Ethan's sudden appearance were nothing short of a whirlwind. He had shown up out of the blue, when I least expected it. It felt surreal, like a dream that I couldn't quite wake up from. Ethan, the man I had loved for so long, was standing in front of me again. And everything had changed. The first few days, I tried to act like I was fine, like I could handle the situation with the casual detachment I had perfected over the years. But the truth was, nothing felt the same. The tension between us was thick, suffocating. I could sense it in the way he looked at me, how his eyes lingered for a fraction longer than necessary. It was as if he was waiting for something from me, waiting for some kind of invitation to speak, to explain himself. But I couldn't give him that. Not yet. I was still so angry, so hurt. I had waited for him for years, holding on to the idea that he would come back, that he would explain himself. That now that he was here, now that he was standing in front of me with an apology, I wasn't sure I could trust. I was frozen. It started with small interactions. Nothing overtly intimate, just fleeting glances and awkward conversations. He was different. His once easy smile was now laced with sadness, his voice softer, almost hesitant. It was as though the man who had left me years ago was buried somewhere deep within this unfamiliar version of himself. I had hoped, foolishly perhaps, that time apart would somehow fix us. But as I watched him from across the room, I realized how much had changed. He wasn't the same man I had fallen in love with. And neither was I. At first, we didn't talk much. There were times when we shared brief, awkward exchanges in the office hallways, but I could feel the distance between us. It wasn't just the years that had passed. It was the emotional gulf, the silent space where words and actions had once lived. But then, one evening after hours, when the office was empty and quiet, I was packing up my things to leave. I wasn't expecting to see him, but there he was again, standing in the doorway, his figure outlined by the soft glow of the hallway lights. I froze, my fingers gripping the handle of my purse. "Ethan," I started, unsure of what to say. The sound of his name on my lips felt strange, foreign. He stepped into the room, his hands stuffed in his pockets, his eyes not quite meeting mine. There was a hesitation in his steps, as if he was unsure of how to approach me. "Grace," he said softly, almost as though testing the waters. I've been thinking a lot about what happened, about how I left." I nodded, trying to keep my expression neutral. "I've been thinking about it too," I replied, my voice tight. "And I don't know what you want me to say, Ethan." "What is there to say? You left me without a word. You disappeared. You left me here, alone." He winced, and I could see the pain in his eyes. I know I can't take that back. But you have to understand. I wasn't trying to hurt you. I was lost. I thought I needed space. I thought that leaving would help me figure things out, but it didn't, and I should have come back sooner. I shouldn't have stayed away for so long. "Why now?" I asked, my voice quivering with both frustration and sadness. "Why after all this time? You just think you can walk back into my life and expect me to forgive you? Expect everything to be fine?" Ethan lowered his gaze, then looked at me again, his eyes filled with something like regret. "I know it's too late. I know you've moved on, and I don't expect you to just forget everything. But when I left, I had no idea how much I would regret it, how much I would miss you. I've never stopped thinking about you, Grace. Even when I tried to move on, you were always there, in my mind, in my heart." The words cut deep. I had spent so many years convincing myself that I had moved on, that I didn't need him anymore. But hearing him say this, hearing the sincerity in his voice, shattered my carefully constructed walls. I turned away from him, trying to regain some control. "You don't get to come back and just say that. You don't get to tell me you regret it now, after years of silence." His voice softened, and for a moment, I could almost feel the sorrow he was carrying. "I know, Grace. I don't expect forgiveness right away. I just wanted to tell you the truth I've been hiding from for years." We stood there in silence for a while, the tension thick between us. My heart was racing, caught between the desire to hold on and the fear of getting hurt again. I could feel my emotions bubbling to the surface: anger, sadness, longing, but there was also a small part of me that wanted to believe him. A part of me that wanted to hear him out, to let him explain everything. But the pain was still there, lurking beneath it all. I had spent so many years healing, and just as I had started to move forward, here he was again, pulling me back into the mess of emotions I had tried so hard to bury. "Do you still love me, Grace?" he asked suddenly, his voice barely above a whisper. The question hung in the air like a fragile thing, suspended between us. I looked at him, unable to speak at first. The words felt like they were trapped inside me, but finally they came out, quieter than I expected. "I don't know," I said, shaking my head. "I don't know if I can love you again. Not after everything. Not after you left me like that." He took a step forward, his eyes pleading. "Please, Grace, I know I don't deserve another chance. But I swear, I'm not the same person I've changed. and I want to be with you. I want to make things right. I looked at him, the words swirling in my mind, each one heavy with meaning. Part of me wanted to believe him. Part of me still loved him. But the other part of me, the part that had been hurt, was terrified. Terrified that if I let him back in, he would hurt me again. That night, I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, unable to sleep. My mind replayed the moments with Ethan, his confession, his sincerity. And yet, in the pit of my stomach, I couldn't shake the nagging feeling that maybe, just maybe, it was too late. Was he the man I once knew? Or was he a stranger now? Someone I had to learn to trust all over again. The days following that conversation with Ethan were a blur. The office felt quieter, as if the walls had become thicker with the weight of his words. And every moment I spent around him seemed to increase the tension. I couldn't concentrate. I couldn't focus. My mind kept replaying our conversations, his confession, and that look in his eyes when he said he still loved me. Was it possible to rebuild something that had been broken for so long? Could I really let myself forgive him, knowing that the past was filled with so much pain? Or was it too late? Could I trust him again? I spent sleepless nights wrestling with these questions. The ghost of him was everywhere. In the office, the way my fingers lingered on the desk where we'd sat during our last conversation. In the empty spaces in my heart that were once filled with our dreams. I had let go of so much, but now that he was back, the weight of everything I had buried was crashing down on me. It was late afternoon on a quiet Friday when Ethan showed up at my office again. I had been busy with work all day, but the moment I saw him standing in the doorway, I felt my heart race. He wasn't the confident, carefree man I had once known. He looked different now, tired, emotionally drained, like a man who had been carrying the weight of his past for far too long. "Grace," he said, his voice soft and low. "Can we talk again?" I stood up, my hands suddenly clammy. I knew I wasn't ready for this, but I couldn't avoid him forever. "Ethan, I'm not sure what we're even doing here. I don't know what you want from me anymore." He took a step forward, his eyes searching mine, filled with so much intensity that I felt a shiver run down my spine. "I know I don't deserve anything from you, but I need to tell you something. Something I should have said a long time ago." I didn't speak. I just nodded, my heart thumping in my chest. He was already standing close enough that I could feel the electricity between us, thick and undeniable. My breath was shallow, and for the first time since he returned, I felt something real stir in me, an old longing, a deep ache I thought had disappeared. "I've spent so many years running from the truth," Ethan said, his voice cracking slightly. "I've been afraid to face it, afraid of how much I hurt you, afraid of how much I've hurt myself. I thought that leaving was the best thing for both of us, that I was giving you space, giving you a chance to move on without the mess of me. But I was wrong, Grace. I was wrong." His words hit me like a punch to the stomach, and for a moment, all I could do was stare at him. The man standing in front of me wasn't the confident person I remembered. He was broken, vulnerable, and I could see the regret in his eyes. He wasn't asking for forgiveness, he was laying his heart bare, exposed, ready for me to either accept it or walk away. "I never wanted to hurt you," Ethan continued. "When I left, I thought it was for the best. I thought I could fix myself. But all I did was run from the truth. The truth is, I've always loved you, Grace. I never stopped. And now I know that I can't just let you walk away without telling you how I feel." My heart ached as his words washed over me. This was what I had been waiting for, wasn't it? The explanation, the apology, the validation that I hadn't been crazy for holding on to the love we once shared. But even as I felt the pull toward him, the fear lingered in the back of my mind. Could I forgive him? Could I trust him again? You left me, Ethan, I said, my voice trembling, holding back the tears that threatened to spill. You left without saying a word. You abandoned me, and for years, I wondered what I did wrong. I wondered if you ever cared about me at all. All this time, I've been trying to forget you, trying to move on, but now you're back, and I don't know how to feel. I don't know if I can forgive you. You hurt me more than you'll ever understand. His expression faltered for a second, but he quickly regained his composure. He reached out, but stopped himself before he touched me, his hand hovering in the air like he was afraid I'd pull away. I know I hurt you, and I can't change that. But I need you to know, Grace, that I never stopped loving you. I was just too afraid to admit it. I can't let you go again. I've been waiting for the right moment to tell you this, and I know it's too late to ask for your forgiveness, but I'm asking anyway. I'm asking for a chance. A real chance to make things right. For a long moment, we just stood there, the silence hanging between us. The weight of the years we'd spent apart seemed too heavy to bear. My heart was torn in two, my emotions a swirling mess. On one hand, I wanted to run to him, to throw my arms around him and tell him I was ready to forgive him, ready to start over. But on the other hand, I couldn't forget the pain of the past, the way he had just vanished without warning. Ethan, I whispered, shaking my head. You can't just come back after all this time and expect me to forget everything. You left me without a word. You didn't even try to contact me. And now you want me to just forgive you? After everything? He stepped closer, his eyes pleading, his voice barely above a whisper. Grace, I don't expect you to forgive me right away, but I need you to know how much I love you. I've always loved you. And if you can't forgive me, if you can't find it in your heart to trust me again, then I'll leave. But at least I'll know that I was honest with you. I can't stand pretending anymore. I can't keep running from the truth. The air between us felt electric, charged with so much unresolved emotion. I could feel my chest tighten, my breath shallow as I looked at him. Really looked at him for the first time in years. Ethan wasn't the same man who had walked away from me. He was different now. But was it enough? I didn't know. I didn't know what to do. But as I looked into his eyes, I realized that the decision wasn't about him anymore. It was about me. Could I forgive him? Could I open my heart again to someone who had once shattered it? For a moment, the room was still, and in that silence, I realized something I had been avoiding for so long. I still loved him. I had always loved him. But could I let myself love him again? I don't know if I can forgive you, Ethan, I whispered, my voice trembling. But I can't let you go either. I don't know what the future holds for us, but I need time. I need time to figure out what I want. His face softened with understanding, and for a moment, there was peace between us. I'll give you all the time you need, Grace. I'm not going anywhere. And if you decide that we have a chance, I'll be here. But if you can't forgive me, I'll respect that too. I just needed you to know that I've always loved you. And with that, he walked away, leaving me standing there, torn between the past I couldn't let go of and the future that seemed so uncertain.